Video, we are going to execute lab 1. So I'll just show you the steps to follow. If you do what I'm doing, you should have no problems. We are going to download the data, pivot the data, and then visualize the data. And the part you have to do is to respond to these questions. You will respond to section A, B, and C of the questions. And then you will go on layer and upload it. So just follow the steps and you should be fine. Where you have to do what you have to do, I'll tell you. So the first thing that it tells you is you have to go to our worldindata.org. That is where I am. You can see our worldindata.org. I'm going to click on CO2 emissions. Once I do that, I will scroll all the way here where we have CO2 emissions per capita. I will click on table. Once I do that, I will come here where we have download. I will click on the download button. It's going to give me two options. I will choose the option of download full data, and it's going to download it into my download folder. Now, I will just click here to get to that folder. So I'll click there immediately. However, I strongly encourage you to go to your download folder. Okay, here we go. I'll click on this folder, click on extract all, and click extract to be able to extract my data. Now, if you take a look, you'll see that this is the data I've downloaded. This is what I want. It is under my download folder in my CO2 emissions per capita folder. So I will leave it there and I'll go immediately to Microsoft Excel. I'll click the Windows button and I'll click Excel to open a blank Excel workbook. Once I've done that, I should see blank workbook. I'll click on blank workbook and here I am. Now the next step is I'll go to data. Under data, I'll go to get data and I'll go to file. And I know my data is a CSV file. So I'll scroll here. I'll click on text CSV. So I'm showing you the best practice to import the data. But you can also do that by just double clicking on the data because our data file is not too big. So I'll click on download. I'll click here, double click on the folder where my data is. And I'll click on CO2 emissions per capita. It's a CSV file. I'll click on import and it's going to import it in my Microsoft Excel document. So it's first going to give me the opportunity to either transform it or to load it. I'll just leave it as, I'll just click on load. And it may take a few seconds and here we go. So when you see entity, just remember it's talking about the countries. Code, we don't really need the code. Year, we need year, and then blah, blah, blah. Now, let's do some work. Okay, I'll just click anywhere inside. If you click outside, it will not work. Make sure you click anywhere inside your table. Go to insert. You should find pivot table here. Click on it and just accept the default. I'll click OK. And there we go. It has given me the opportunity to create my pivot where I want. Now just be careful. If you click somewhere in there, you'll lose that. Let me close this. I really don't need the queries and connection. So if I click anywhere here in this menu, I have my pivot table fields. So the first thing I want to do, I want to take year, click, hold, drag, and put it under rows. The next thing I want to do is to click on annual CO2 emission, click, hold, drag, and put it under values. Now I do not want the sum, I want the average. So I'm going to click on top of that click on value field setting, take average, go to number format, take number, make sure you have decimal 2, OK, and then OK. Now, the next thing you want to do is to take entity, which is actually the name of countries, click hold, drag it, and put it on the column. So if you make a mistake, just uncheck it, or you just click, you drag, you remove, and you do that if you want to go back. Okay, that's all. So the last thing we want to do, we want to put a chart and then put a slicer. So when this is still active, anywhere inside your table, you go to pivot table analyze, and here you click on pivot chart, and we'll take a line chart, and we will OK. Now it may take a few minutes because there are so many countries. I'll put it there. Depending on the size of your screen, you'll see what you see. The next thing I'll do now is to go to pivot chart analyze, click on insert slicer, and then click on entity. OK. It's going to give me a slicer. I'll just drag it and put it here, and then expand it. So you are free to expand it as you want, depending on your screen size. My screen is pretty large, that's why I can do this. You can come here when this is still active. When your slicer is active, you can come here under the slicer ribbon. You can increase the columns to, I'll just say 6 or 7, yeah, because it helps you to be able to see all the countries and regions of the world, else it's difficult. Now, if you look at the instructions that were given, you were told to choose a first, second, and third G7 countries. So these are the G7 countries: Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, UK, USA. So you'll just take 3 of them. That's all you need to do. So I'll take Canada, of course. I'll click on Canada. When you click on Canada, you should immediately see a change here. You will see the per capita CO2. Now, given that we want to compare a few countries, you have to hold down Control on your keyboard. You hold down Control. For those using Mac, it should be Command. And then I'll look for USA. Actually, I have United Kingdom, and I also have USA. I'll click on those two and I'll hit my release. I'll just release the control. So here we can see the different countries, and that enables me to answer the questions that were provided. For example, question A says, which of your 3 chosen nations has the highest per capita footprint? So you can see right now, if you compare where the data ends, you'll see that the United States has the highest, and then it wants you to give a suggestion. What is responsible for that? So if you don't know what energy mix is or industrial mix is, just Google it and you'll find it. Then we'll talk about that in class. Now remember, I said I'm not picky about the first 5 labs. I just want to see effort. The next question says, it has a question about a peak. It says, in what decade did emissions begin to decline for your selected countries? So you just need to take a look. You'll see when it started declining. It was going up. When did it really start declining for them? And so on and so forth. So if you take a look at the questions add India or China. So let's just add which one is really close here. I think I have China somewhere here. So at China, you just need to hold down Control key, press China, and release your Control key. And let me redo it. Control, I click on China, and then I release Control. There we go. So you choose one. It doesn't say at China and India. Just choose one. By the way, where is India? Let me click here to move this a bit and see if I can easily find. Okay, India is here. So I need to press Control again, click on India, and then release it to see where things stand. So you can see where India is, you can see where China is relative to the other nations. So basically, you now have all you need to answer your questions. So this is how you are going to submit it. It says, first, I want the data sheet. Then I want the pivot table. So if you take a look, initially, let's just call this data sheet, where we brought in our data. So I will double click here and I'll give it the name data sheet. So it has our initial data. If I come to this one, this is where a pivot table is, a pivot chart, and all of those things are. I'll just double click on sheet 2 and I'll give it pivot. So if you want to change, then you can always right click, then you will have rename. Okay, if you don't like double clicking, you can right click. Now, the last thing you'll need to do is you have the data sheet, pivot table, line chart, active slicer. So the line chart, so this is your line chart and this is the slicer. So leave the slicer as it is. When it says active, it means you've made your selection. So it looks like that. Now, written commentary for sections A, B, and C. So your analysis, we will click here. I'll double click and I'll just call this analysis. And you can give this A in order to write your analysis in that column, B, and C. So you want to write your analysis in this cell. Let me just select those two, make it bold, and center it. Now, I'll increase the size of this column. I just need to come between A and B, click, hold, and drag. It will increase the size. I'll do the same, click, hold, drag, click, hold, drag, and have it there. Now, given that I will be typing here, okay, you will be writing your comments there for the first one. Now, what happens is that when you keep going, you can see that it's going beyond what you want, but that's not how you should do things. So just click. So what you will do, so I'll hit enter. You click there, you right click, and you look for format cells. Here we go. When you click on format cells, you go to alignment. Once you find alignment, you look for wrap text and you say okay. It means it's going to wrap the text in there. So if you write, if you keep writing, you see it always stays in there. So you can write your whole commentaries inside this cell, and whatever you want to write, you can write there. So that when you upload your paper, when you upload this on layer, I can take a look on your data sheet, your pivot, and I can read your analysis. So what you need to do at the end of the day is to go to File, you save it, and of course you have to save it as a workbook. Make sure you save it as a workbook, and then you upload it on layer. Under assignments, I will provide space for lab 1. You upload it, and that is all. Don't try to overkill yourself analyzing these things. I said the first few labs, take it easy. It's after the fifth lab that we will lay that that I will start being picky. What I want to see is that you are able to get your data, get these charts, and have fun doing it.